Yeah, hello everyone, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just started now actually. Okay, so what we have done yesterday, guys, yesterday we have seen about the operating system. hmm? OS is also known as actually system software. Okay, OS or system software. Okay, so what is the OS here? It is interface between user and hardware. Let us write user and hardware. Okay, that is the purpose of operating system. Without operating system, we know we cannot use a machine. Okay, so these are the two major companies that design and that develop your operating system. One is Microsoft, another one is Unix. Okay, and from Microsoft, we know we have many versions, as well as in Unix, we have many versions. So those versions we have already seen. But again, OS is categorized into two types. One is like client operating system, and another one is server operating system. Okay, coming to client operating system, uh, it is Windows 10 and Windows 8. These are the two main client operating systems we use nowadays in majority of cases. Okay, and what is the use of this client operating system? Remember, we said every software is designed for a purpose. Okay, every software is designed for a reason. So what is the purpose of this client operating system? It is used for browsing purpose, opening audio and video file, office work, and some games. This is what we do on client operating system. Okay, and the second operating system here is called server operating system. Server OS is Microsoft Windows Server operating system, and from Unix. Okay, so from Microsoft, we have Windows Server 2019, 16, and 12 that is in use in companies as of now. And whatever we have before Windows Server 2012, it is outdated. Okay, and coming to Unix, we have many flavors in Unix like Linux, Solaris, HP, IBM, Mac, and all those things. And again in Linux, we have like many other versions. Okay, so that is from Unix. Okay, uh, the cost of the operating system, like we discussed yesterday, is client operating system will be approximately $120, whereas server OS will be like between $1,500 to like $5,000. And one more thing that we have discussed yesterday is Linux is not completely free, it is partially free. Of course, it is open source. Okay, the coding is available for free. Okay, so we can use and we can develop our own software. But every person or every company will not make their own software. Whatever Linux softwares are already designed, they will go with those Linux softwares. Like most of the people, they will go with like Red Hat or CentOS or Ubuntu, or if someone is learning some hacking, then he will go with like Kali Linux. And if someone is on Amazon AWS, then he will go with like Amazon Linux. So we have many Linux available. So why it is partially free? Partially free because we can take the Linux and we can use it. But if you need the support, then we need to pay money. Okay. Then what is the major difference between client OS and server OS? Like we said yesterday, whatever we do on client OS, everything is possible in server OS. But server OS is not designed for browsing, audio, office work, games. We can do it. We can do those things, but it is not designed. See, you will not see a computer, a personal computer where a server OS is running. No person will spend $1,500 or $2,000 and he will use a server OS on his personal computer. That is no way possible, because no one will spend that much money unnecessary for browsing and audio and video. That is already possible on client OS, right? So server OS is used in special cases. Server operating system is used in companies to manage a computer network. Okay, server OS is used in companies to manage a computer network. Okay, so that is called administration. So what is administration? There are some hundreds and thousands of computers in a company. You can use a server, and by using a server OS, you can control them. Control them in the sense, you can enable and disable some settings. You can create some policy. You can share data. You can share internet. Okay, you can make some security there. So like this, we can do many things by using server operating system. Okay, so this is specially designed for administration. We can host email service, we can host web service, we can host DNS service, DHCP service. Everything is possible on server operating system. When you say www.gmail.com, actually you are connected to Gmail server. So where is a Gmail server running? It is running in a server operating system. Okay, it can be Linux server operating system there, or it can be Windows server operating system. When you say like yahoo.com or facebook.com, where is facebook.com running? Facebook.com is an application that is running on a server OS. Again, it can be Windows or it can be Linux. But over the internet, majority of websites, they are running on Linux operating system because of more security. One of the questions they will ask you in interview is, what are the differences between Windows Server operating system and Linux server operating system or Unix? One difference here is in Linux we have more security compared to Windows. Okay, Linux, it is more secure compared to Windows. Okay, Linux we have uh, less virus compared to Windows. Okay, and Windows is more expensive compared to Linux. But again, there are certain services that are good on Windows and there are certain services that are good on Linux. Like there is something called Active Directory that is possible that we can configure only on Windows Server operating system. ADDS is a very major part of a computer network. Okay, so that is possible only on Windows Server operating system. So both have some advantages, both have some dis disadvantages when you compare each other. So overall, companies will go with Windows as well as Linux as their operating system. Microsoft is one of the biggest company. We know this company very well. The time we started using our computers, we started using Microsoft products like Windows XP or Windows 7 or MS Office or whatever. So Microsoft is a very big company. So this company will not go down so easily. So if Linux is providing some better features, Microsoft will provide some other better features. So overall, there is a very tough competition between Microsoft Windows servers and Linux servers. Okay, but 90 to 95% cases, like I said you, they will use Windows servers or Linux servers only. The other servers have some disadvantages. Like if you want to go with HP, you should have HP hardware. If you want to go with IBM, you should have IBM hardware. So we have disadvantages there. So 90 to 95% cases, you will see Windows servers and Linux servers used in companies. Okay. Now, OS is again categorized into two types. One is GUI, another one is CLI. GUI is graphical user interface and CLI is command line interface. So majority of Windows servers are graphical and majority of Linux servers are CLI. But remember what I told you yesterday, Windows servers we can configure by using CLI also, and Linux servers we can configure by using GUI also. But they are not famous for, Linux is not famous for GUI and Windows is not famous for CLI. So whenever someone is talking about Windows server, they just assume like, okay, everything is graphical there. And whenever someone is talking about Linux server, they just think that, okay, everything is CLI there. Okay, so these are the things we have discussed yesterday. Now we should know how to install Windows operating system. And like I said, if you know how to install Windows Server 2016, the installation of 19, installation of 12, installation of 8 and 10, everything is same. All the Windows operating system, whether it is client OS and server OS, is same. And if you go with Linux installation also, more or less it will be same. So the installation process will be same of all the operating systems. Okay. Okay, so before we see the installation process, let us see two main things. One is, there is a terminology here called booting. So what exactly is a booting? Any idea, guys? Anyone, can you just explain briefly like what is booting? Because this is again a very big interview question. From today's class, you will get some interview questions like what is booting, how to install operating system, what is BIOS, and all those things. So those things we will see carefully. Okay, there is something called booting here. Booting means, the general definition of booting is loading of operating system. This is called booting. Loading of operating system is called booting. means whenever you switch on a computer or any device like computer, laptop, server, whatever you say, the computer will boot. The computer will load your operating system. So we should not say like computer is powering on or the computer is coming up. That is not the technical terminology. The technical terminology is computer is getting booting. Okay, so booting is a process of loading of operating system. Okay, now one simple question. Once you switch on a computer, can you tell me please where exactly our operating system will be there in every computer, like your computer or my computer? Where is my operating system?
Command prompts.
No, in which component of my computer the operating system will be there?
Hard disk, sir. Hard disk.
Exactly, it will be there in hard disk. Everyone knows this. Hard disk is a permanent storage device. So whatever we save, it will be there in hard disk. So this file I created yesterday, right? Today also we are able to access this file because this was saved in hard disk. Okay, so what is booting here? Booting means loading of operating system. Okay, so the operating system is there in our hard disk. Now the big question here is, in hard disk from where it will come? Because see, the components are Microsoft and Unix or Linux. Okay, but when you go with a hard disk, we have Samsung hard disk, Seagate hard disk, Western Digital hard disk. These are some of the very famous companies. This hard disk are not manufactured by Microsoft or Linux. This is a hardware company and this is a software company. Both are different. So the question here is, in our hard disk, from where the operating system will come? Now listen. Now what happens here is, when you take a computer, a new computer or a new server, hard disk will be all empty. There is no operating system available in our hard disk. A computer hardware is coming from one company, a computer software is coming from some other company. So we took the computer hardware from HP company or Lenovo company or Dell or Sony or Samsung, and there are many companies, we know that. Okay, so it is coming, hardware is coming from one company and software is coming from one company. So what we have to do here is, we have to take the hardware from any XYZ company and we have to take the software from Microsoft or Linux. So suppose imagine we have already purchased the software. How to purchase the software? Like Windows Server 2016. We can order this DVD over the internet. Can you see here? This is Windows Server 2016 DVD. So this DVD will come. For this DVD, we need to pay the money, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, whatever. So for this DVD, we have to pay money, and this DVD will come from which company? Microsoft. Now we have a hardware. We have a hardware from, like, say, Dell company, and we have a software from Microsoft company. So what we need to do here is, this software that we got from Microsoft company, this software we need to install in our hardware. Okay, let me draw this diagram carefully. It's a very simple logic and everyone should understand this logic. Okay, so this is my hardware. Okay, now from hardware, the operating system will come into my, okay, sorry guys. Hardware. This is my OS actually. OS can be there in DVD or there is something called ISO image. What is ISO image? That I'll show you within like 5 minutes or so. Okay, so your OS DVD or your ISO image, and from there the image will come into my hard disk. Actually, I was just confused there. Okay, now from hard disk the OS image will come into my RAM. Actually, this is the process of every computer or every laptop. Okay, let me make this more clear. Actually, that's it. Now listen carefully, please. When you take a hardware, like I said you, in hardware there is a hard disk. In computer there is a motherboard, processor, RAM, hard disk. We have many components, so we know this very well. The operating system will be loaded in our hard disk. Okay, but when you take a new computer, there is no operating system in our hard disk. Hard disk will be all empty. Hard disk will be all empty. So what we have to do, we have to purchase a OS, or we have to download the OS from internet. Okay, so when you purchase the OS will come in a DVD, and when you're downloading the OS, from your internet, this operating system will come in ISO image format. It will come like a file actually. Now, what is the difference here? See, normally when you take a DVD, we can get scratches on DVD. What is a scratch here? See, we can see many scratches here. So if you get some scratches like this on a DVD or a CD, we cannot use this DVD or a CD, right? Okay, so nowadays, for last some years actually, whichever software you are taking, whether it is a operating system or whether any application software, the softwares are not coming in a DVD. The softwares are coming in a image file. It is called ISO image file. Because in a image file, there is no scratch. Image file will not get damaged. Image file will not get broken. DVD can be broken, DVD can get damaged, DVD can get some scratches. Okay, so the operating system for last 4-5 years, it is very easy for us to download the operating system as ISO image file. How to download? Let us see again. We need to go to Google and just say Windows Server 2016 ISO image. Okay, so it will redirect you to the Microsoft website. So click on this Microsoft website. See here we can see Windows Server 2016 and many things. So I selected Windows Server 2016. So here it is selected Windows Server 2016. Click on this ISO image and just say continue. We have some description and prerequisites and everything. If you have time, better read it once. It will be useful for you. So just click on continue. So once you click on continue, it will ask you to enter some details. So enter your name, last name, company name, whatever expires, just enter anything and then just say continue. So once you say continue, this ISO image will be downloaded in your computer. So I already downloaded this ISO image. So I'll show my image here. So if I go to this D drive, we have this OS images, and see I have this many OS images. Some are for Linux, some are for Windows, some are for VMware. I have many images here. And can you see Windows Server 2016 here? This is your ISO image. If I go to properties of this file, can you see here ISO? So what is it inside this file? Inside this file, we have the operating system. So instead of taking operating system in a DVD, we can take operating system in this ISO image, and this ISO image we can copy in a pen drive and we can do the installation from pen drive. Or this ISO image we can copy in a DVD and we can do the installation from DVD. So now in case if you lose your pen drive or in case if the DVD is broken, no issues, because we already have the ISO image. Again, we can copy this image in a DVD or a pen drive. Again, we can do the installation in some other machine. So that is the advantage of our ISO image. So just remember one thing, from today, whenever you take any software in a company, majority of softwares are coming in ISO image. They are not coming in a CD or DVD. Okay. So what we have to do, we have to download this image, ISO image. Okay. And this image we need to install in our hard disk. This process is called installation process. Okay, I'll just make a note here. It will be easy for you to remember. Okay, so the process here is, the first step is download ISO image from Microsoft website. Second one is install ISO image in computer hard disk. That's it. Download ISO image from Microsoft website and install ISO image in computer hard disk. Okay, so once the installation process is done, you know what we have to do? Third step here is switch on. When I say computer, I'm talking about computer, laptop and server, all three machines. Okay, now switch on the computer and computer will boot. Or I can say like, after installing a hard disk, now boot the computer. So what happens in this booting now? So once you boot the computer, in booting, OS will be loaded from hard disk to RAM. There is one more component in our computer that is called random access memory. Okay, so what happens now? The OS will be loaded from hard disk to RAM. It is there in hard disk. Now the OS is there in hard disk. So once you switch on your machine, the OS from hard disk, it will enter into RAM. Now what you see on my screen, there is a Windows 7 operating system. Okay, now this Windows 7 operating system is not working from my hard disk. Now it is working from my RAM actually. So once you switch on a computer, the OS from hard disk, it will enter into random access memory. That is the reason, guys, we say like random access memory should be more, RAM should be more. It should be minimum like 8 GB nowadays, because the operating system, the application, the browser, whatever we do on a computer, everything will work from random access memory only. If your RAM is less, then the machine performance will be slow. If the RAM is more, then the machine performance will be better. Now, can you tell me please how to check the memory and CPU performance in our computer? Again, this is a very simple interview question actually. They will ask you how to check the performance of the machine.
By
Okay,
using Task Manager.
exactly. Task manager, right? This is your taskbar. Right click on taskbar, just go to this task manager. So when you go to task manager, see, it will show you how much CPU and how much memory is in used. CPU will fluctuate, like right now it is using 12%, but see RAM is 3.38 GB. How much RAM it is using now? It is using 3.38 GB. In my computer, actually, I have 32 GB RAM. That is something like a server configuration. So I have 32 GB RAM. So out of 32 GB, it is using 3.38 GB. Just remember that. Now what I will do here is, I will go to this browser. And I will open some websites here, like say CR7 skills. Randomly, I'll just open some videos here. Okay, man, thank you. Now we know this, like this websites we are running right now in browser. Actually, these websites are running from your RAM actually. These websites are not running from your hard disk. See, I have opened like 8 to 10 websites here, 7-8 websites here. All the websites right now, they are running from random access memory. If I download any video, then only the video will go to hard disk. So whatever you do in a computer, everything will run from RAM. Like suppose if I open a file here like Notepad, this is a file. I'm making some file here. I'm saying like, hello, how are you? So right now this file is available in my RAM. If I say save here, then only the file will go to hard disk. But if I say don't save here, the file is khalas, erased. It is not available anywhere. So when you run a machine, the machine will run from your RAM. Now let us see how much RAM it is using now. See how much it is using, 4.25 GB. That means approximately 1 GB has increased. So why this 1 GB RAM utilization has increased? Because I have opened many websites here. Yeah, see this many websites are running here. Now I'll do one thing. I'll just close all these websites. Now see how much it is using now. It is back to 3.5, 3.4 GB now. Yeah, so this is your random access memory. Your machine will run from RAM. Okay, so once we do the installation from ISO image into the hard disk, then once we switch on the computer, the OS from hard disk, it will enter into RAM and the machine will function and the machine will run from your RAM only. It is same with a computer, server, laptop, router, switch, your mobile phone also. That is the reason from today, whenever you take a hard disk, whenever you take a hardware, whether it is laptop, computer or server, better take a hardware with more random access memory. Because if the RAM is less, the machine performance will be slow. If the RAM is more, the machine performance will be more. Okay, so what we have to do, download ISO image from Microsoft website, or you can go to Red Hat website also anywhere, and then install ISO image in computer hard disk. This process we need to know now how to do the installation. And the third one is now boot the computer. Boot the computer means simply switch on the computer. After installation is completed, switch on the computer. So now when you switch on the computer will go to hard disk and it will search whether there is any operating system or not. So we have already installed the operating system in the hard disk. So what computer will do, it will take the operating system from your hard disk and it will bring the operating system into RAM. And this process is again known as booting process. So it will take the OS from hard disk and it will go to RAM and the machine is up. The machine will be up and we can use that machine. Now suppose in case the installation process is not completed, the installation is not completed from the installation is not done in the hard disk. Now just imagine we switch on a computer. So when you switch on a computer, you know what happens, the computer will go to the hard disk and it will search for the operating system. So there is no operating system available. So computer will show a message like no OS found, operating system not found. That's it. So when you take a new computer, we have a hard disk there and we have a RAM there. But in hard disk, there is no operating system. The operating system should be installed from our DVD or ISO image into the hard disk. Now, maybe you're thinking like, normally when someone takes a laptop, the operating system is already loaded in that laptop. Generally, that is also possible, right? You can go to market, you can take a laptop with a operating system. Now, if you take a laptop with your operating system, someone in that company, like suppose again you're taking a laptop with the company Dell or Lenovo, whatever. So when you take a laptop, Dell company laptop or Lenovo company laptop, and suppose if Windows operating system is already there in that laptop, there are two things we need to remember here. One is someone in that company, Dell company, has done the installation. Like how we do the installation here, same installation that person has done in the company. And the second thing is that operating system is not free. That operating system cost will be added in your hardware itself. Come again, that operating system that you get in your hardware from the company itself, that operating system is not at all free. The price, the cost of that operating system will be included in your hardware. So normally if you take a i5 processor with i5 laptop without OS, and if you take i5 laptop with OS, the price will be different. i5 laptop with OS will be a bit more compared to i5 laptop without operating system. Okay. Now one more thing that we need to remember carefully here is every OS has some versions. Like, if you go with Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10, we have some versions like, home basic version. professional version, ultimate version. These are some of the basic versions. So when you take a operating system, guys, when you take a laptop with operating system, in majority of cases that operating system is only home basic operating system. Home basic operating system means it is used for like basic purpose, like for browsing or some audio and video file. It is a very basic operating, although it is Windows 10 operating system, although it is Windows 8 operating system, but it is having some basic features. We cannot install this, we cannot install applications here, and we cannot use this home basic operating system in our company's computer because it will not support many applications. So in company's computer, we should go with either professional or we should go with either ultimate. And of course, the pricing will be different. If the home basic is coming in like suppose $25, this will be again suppose around $120. So this much price difference will be there. So home basic has a very limited options. So you should not take this home basic operating system for your use. You should go with at least professional or you should go with ultimate. Okay, so these are the versions we have in every operating system. How to check that? If you go to run, there is a command here called winver. Win means Windows, ver means version, Windows version, and just say winver and say okay. So say my Windows 7 is ultimate here. So in this same way you can check your version, whether it is Windows 8 or Windows 10. Just go to run and say winver. It will show you the version of your OS. If it is professional or ultimate, that means it is a better operating system. But if it is a home version, home basic version, that means it will not support many applications. It will support only some basic applications. Okay, fine. So this is our installation. So I just repeat again. Take the DVD or ISO image and do the installation in your hard disk, and from hard disk it will be booted in our RAM and the machine is up. So by default there is no operating system available in hard disk, so we have to do the installation in our hard disk. So I hope everything is clear till now. So in case if you have any queries here, anything you wanna say, hopefully we can see that. Then we can move into the next topic. By the way, operating system is one of the most important topic for you as a administrator, for examination, for interview, as well as when you work in a company. Majority of cases, your work in a company as a fresher will be installation of operating system. Directly, you're not working on servers and routers and switches. When you work as a fresher, you start your career from here. Cables, how to make cable, that is part of CCNA actually. What are the types of cables available and all those things. But this installation process, I have never seen a person in my life who has never said like he is not installing operating system in a company. As a fresher or as a 2-3 years of experience, this is one of the most common tasks we do in company, installation of operating system, because there are some hundreds and thousands of computers in a company. If it is a big company, there can be 10,000 computers also. So in those 10,000 computers, the operating system must be there, and the machines are running like 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours. So there is a huge chance the OS will get corrupt. So if the OS is corrupt, it is our responsibility to go to that machine and do the installation again. So this process every person should know. Okay, so I hope everything is clear now. So let us move to the next thing in operating system only. Okay, fine. So we are installing OS from ISO image or DVD into the hard disk. Yeah. So how to do this installation? Let us see that process. Now, in every computer, guys, there is something called BIOS. Again, a big interview question. BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System or Signal. Basic Input Output System. This is called BIOS. See, I'll just show you one motherboard, actually, computer motherboard. I hope you have seen this motherboard before, any computer motherboard. the hardware motherboard. Okay, so computer motherboard will be like this. We have many components here. Actually, this is a processor. I'll just highlight something here. This is your processor. These are your RAM slots. We have totally 4 RAM slots here. And we know this is your NIC card, USB port, VGA port, keyboard and mouse, sound ports, and these are also USB ports here. Okay. Now there is a chip here called BIOS chip, ROM chip actually, random access memory. It will be somewhere here. Okay, so when you take a computer, guys, the motherboard will be there in computer for sure, whether it is computer, server, or laptop, it will be there for sure, right? And this motherboard contains a ROM chip, and in this ROM there is a software that is already loaded from company itself, that is called BIOS, basic input output system. I'm not talking about operating system, guys. I'm not talking about operating system. I'm saying when you purchase a hardware, in that hardware there is a small chip on that motherboard. There is a small chip. It is called ROM, ROM, random access read only memory. So in that ROM there is a program that is already loaded from company. Like suppose if you take a Dell laptop, Dell company people, what they do in BIOS, in ROM chip, they will load this BIOS program. If you go with this Lenovo, what this Lenovo people will do, they will load this BIOS in our ROM chip. And BIOS will look something like this. In some machines it will be like this. In some machines it will be like this. Some minor differences will be there. And in some machines it will be like this. So whether the operating system is running or not in a computer, the BIOS will be still available in our computer. So one of the interview question will be, what is BIOS and what are the functions of BIOS? So let us see something about BIOS now. Basic input output system. Motherboard has BIOS loaded in ROM chip. Done. So what we can do in BIOS? Actually in BIOS we can do many things. I will show you BIOS when we do the installation. So we can do many things here. But one of the main thing we can do here is we can select boot process in BIOS. What we can do? We can select our boot process in BIOS. Means what? Means, see, we can do the installation from DVD. We can do the installation by using ISO image. ISO image means your USB. Okay, so we can do the installation from DVD, or we can do the installation from the USB. We can do the installation from hard disk, and we can do installation from server. We can do installation by using this 4 ways: by using DVD, by using USB, hard disk, as well as by using a server. By using a server, we can do installation in all the hundreds and thousands of computers that we will see hopefully after 20 days. Okay, so we can do all these things. Now in this computer, how we are installing? We are installing by using, suppose, DVD. So what we need to do here is we need to enter in our BIOS. We need to switch on the computer and enter in BIOS, and in this BIOS we need to select the boot process. We need to select the boot process as DVD, because we are installing this from DVD, right? Now suppose you're not installing from DVD, you're installing from ISO image. Then what we need to do? We need to switch on the computer, enter in BIOS, and in BIOS we need to select the option as USB. That means the computer should take the operating system from USB and it should install the operating system in my hard disk. Or like I said, we can use a server. Like if there are many computers in which the OS should be installed, so we can take a server, and by using that server we can do the installation. Okay, so how the computer will know from where it should get an operating system? Now again, switch on the computer, enter in BIOS, and in BIOS select the option as server. That means what computer will know now? Computer will know, like, okay, it should go to a server to get a operating system. So this changes we can do in BIOS. These settings we can select in BIOS. So I repeat again, we can do the installation either from USB, or we can do the installation from the DVD, or we can do the installation from the server. So we should select the option how we are installing the operating system, from where we are installing the operating system. So that selection we can do in this BIOS. Okay, so we can select the boot process in BIOS, but the question here is how to enter in BIOS. Anyone, please? Anyone can tell me how to enter in BIOS? Again,
By
it is a
using the when the computer is booting, when you press the F12 key, so
exactly,
we need to enter that BIOS
exactly.
screen.
So what we have to do here is when the computer is booting, like booting in the sense, once you switch on the computer, within like 2-3 seconds or 5 seconds, we should not wait for like more than 5 seconds. Switch on the computer. Okay, to enter in BIOS, switch on the, again I'm saying computer, so whenever I say computer, I am referring to computer, laptop and server. Okay, to enter in BIOS, switch on the computer and press delete key, or F2 key, or F10 key. It can be delete button, or it can be F2 or F10. It depends on the company actually. F10 key within 3 to 4 seconds. So if you press this keys, delete button or F2 button or F10 button, actually in some other machines it can be some other key also, but 90% cases it will be from this three: delete, F2 or 10. Okay, so to enter in BIOS, switch on the computer and press delete, F2 or F10 key within 3 to 4 seconds, and we will enter in BIOS. Now we can select booting option. That's it. This as simple as this. So take the DVD or take the ISO image, whatever, connect that image or the DVD to the server or computer, then enter in BIOS and select the boot option. So once you select the boot option, the last step here is, after selecting the booting option like CD, DVD or USB or server, now save the settings and exit. Now once you exit, guys, the fifth step here is, now the installation process will begin. The installation process will begin. Which installation process? The installation process from DVD or USB into the hard disk. This process will begin. So this process will take around 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so this installation process will be done. So after installation process is done, we have operating system in our hard disk. So I repeat again, by default there is no operating system in majority of cases, so we have to do the installation process, and this installation process will be like this. They will ask you this question wherever you face the interview, guys, wherever or whichever company, small, medium or the biggest company, booting, installation, BIOS, these three questions will come, because once you get a job in a company as a fresher or as a junior administrator, this is one of the responsibility they will allocate you. This is one of the responsibility, it will be on you. Okay, so you should know this process very well. So I'll just wait here for like 30 more seconds here in case if you have any doubts here regarding booting process and BIOS and all those things. Hopefully we can clear everything, then we can move into the next topic. Okay, fine. So I hope everything is clear now. So let us move and let us see some other topic. Now, You know the installation and everything now, so I'll just save this file here and I'll keep like this. Now let us see some architecture here. So like we know the actual architecture of a machine, the layers in a machine will be like, first layer is your hardware layer, okay, then the operating system layer, then the application layer, and then the user is working here. We know these layers, we have already seen these layers here. Let us open that file. This one, right? So we have hardware, we have OS, and we have some services. Okay, this one. This is much better. So we have hardware, we have operating system, application, and user. Same for a server, hardware, OS, application or services, then a user here. So now we are into the second layer, like we are installing OS here. Okay. Now to do MCSE practicals, guys, we need minimum 2 computers. One is a server machine and one is a client machine. Minimum 2 machines are needed here. It is very difficult for any person to take 2 physical machines, right? Because maybe people are using only one machine. Normally they use only one machine, right? So it is very difficult for them to take 2 physical computers. So how can they do practicals? Now to do practicals, like I said, one server is needed and one computer is needed. So there is a software here, guys. There is a simulation software. It is called VMware Workstation. You can see here VMware Workstation. My version is 14. You can take 14, 15, 16, 17. We have more versions here. You can take any version. So by using this VMware Workstation, we can create multiple virtual machines. See, there is something called physical machine and there is something called virtual machine. Virtual machine is a terminology that we should know carefully, and virtual machine is the machines that we are using in most of the companies. Like if you go with cloud computing, there is a virtual machine. If you go with VMware, there is a virtual machine. Hardly we see companies using physical machines nowadays. And whatever companies are using physical machines, they are using physical machines because those machines are available for many years. But if there is a new company, in majority of cases, the new company will not take a new physical machine. They will go to cloud, like Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud, Microsoft Cloud. They will go to cloud and they will take a virtual machine from the cloud. So what is the difference between physical machine and virtual machine? The components will be same. Physical machine has a motherboard, virtual machine has a motherboard, processor, hard disk, RAM, NIC card. Operating system will be there in physical machine, operating system will be there in virtual machine. Everything is same. But the major difference here is physical machine is a physical device that we can see, we can touch. We know those physical components very well. There is a physical machine. But virtual machine it is not a physical thing. It is a part of your physical machine. Like for example, I'll take one simple example. Like if I open this file here, there is nothing in that file. Okay, if I open a file like this, so this is your file here. I can see everything here. I have written something for some other class maybe. So steps to install vCenter server appliance here. Now what you see here, this file is a virtual file actually. Virtual file means it is available in my computer. If I close, it will be there. So we can see the file here again, it is still there. But if I take a printout of this file, it will be a physical file. It is called hard copy. This is called soft copy. That is called hard copy. Hard copy means it will be there on a paper. We can see, we can touch, we can carry everywhere. But soft copy is there in your computer. Now just take this example to understand the difference between physical machine and virtual machine. Physical machine is just like your hard copy, like a paper or a device. But whereas virtual machine or a file, it is part of your physical machine. So what we can do here is we can take one physical machine. In this one physical machine, we can create multiple virtual machines. Come again, take a laptop, and in that laptop, we can create multiple virtual machines. So how many machines we need for practicals? Minimum we need 2 machines, one for server and one for computer. So these 2 machines we can easily create. What is a machine, guys? Machine is something with some hardware and it has your operating system. That is a machine generally, right? So here also same. When you talk about virtual machine is some hardware, but it is not physical. It is a virtual hardware. Means if there is a laptop with you, we can create a virtual machine. So what that virtual machine will do, it will use your laptop hardware. It will use your laptop or computer hardware and it will run within that hardware. So we can make 2 virtual machines, 3 virtual machines, 4, 5, 10, 20, any number of virtual machines. And what will be there in the virtual machine? Of course, the operating system will be there in virtual machine. So when you work in a company as administrator, physical setup does not matter. Physical server does not matter here. You're working on Windows Server 2016. You're working on Linux server. You're working on Windows Server 2012. So this Windows Server 2016 can be running on a physical machine or it can be running on a virtual machine. It doesn't matter. You're using your operating system. You just need a operating system. And to run a operating system, you can take a physical machine or a virtual machine. Okay, so this VMware Workstation software is designed to run multiple virtual machines in a single hardware. You can take your laptop and you can install multiple virtual machines. But there are some conditions that should be fulfilled. And the conditions are, let us see those conditions. If you have a laptop or a computer, certain hardware should be there in your machine. Okay, so how much hardware should be there? Of course, motherboard will be there, processor will be there, RAM will be there, hard disk will be there. But coming to RAM, if you are having 8 GB RAM, then we can go with this VMware. It should be 8 GB. CPU should be i3 or above. i3 or above means i3, i5, i7 or anything. Hard disk should be like minimum 100 GB free. So listen carefully guys. In case if you have a computer with this configuration, 8 GB RAM, i3 or above processor and 100 GB hard disk free, then you know what you can do? You can install VMware Workstation, this software in your computer, and you can create multiple virtual machines there and you can do all practicals. Got it? If there is a computer with you with this configuration, more than 8 GB is more than welcome actually, but it should be minimum 8 GB. So 6 GB also we can manage. 6 GB also we can manage, but 4 GB or less than 4 GB is not possible. So minimum 6 GB, 8 GB is better, and above 8 GB is very good. So if there is a computer or laptop with you with this configuration, you can practice everything on your single machine. No need to take 2 physical machines, because in this single physical machine, we can make multiple virtual machines. Okay. So now let us see the scenario again. So we have the hardware here, and on top of the hardware, what we have here? Every hardware has a operating system. We know this very well. So although already you are using some operating system like Windows 8 or Windows 10 there. Now suppose imagine you are using Windows 10 operating system in your machine. Now let's see this scenario. Total GB RAM here is 8 GB in your machine, physical RAM. Now once you switch on your computer, guys, there is Windows 10 running in your machine. So once you switch on your computer, you know how much Windows 10 will use? Out of 8 GB, Windows 10 will use 2 GB RAM. Got it? Windows 10 will use 2 GB RAM from your 8 GB. So how much is remaining now? The remaining will be 6 GB. The remaining RAM will be 6 GB in your machine. Yeah. Now, on top of this operating system, what we have to do? On top of this operating system, we have to install VMware Workstation. This software we need to install. VMware Workstation software we need to install on top of the operating system. After installing VMware Workstation, guys, we know we need to create virtual machines here. So how many virtual machines we need to create? 2 virtual machines we need to create. One virtual machine is for Windows Server. I'll just select Server 2016. So one virtual machine should be created for Server 2016. And for this Server 2016 machine, we should take hardware like RAM minimum. We should take like 2 GB here, and hard disk we should take minimum like 60 GB. This much we need to take. And we need to create one more machine here. This is one more virtual machine here, and this virtual machine is for your client. Client can be Windows 10 or Windows 8 or Windows 7. It's better you go with Windows 7 because Windows 7 will take less resources. Okay, so for Windows 7, RAM should be like 1 GB is enough, and if you can go with 2 GB, that is good, but 1 GB is enough. Hard disk, again like 50 GB is enough. Okay guys, so how much is remaining here? Totally 6 GB RAM is remaining. See here please. Out of 8 GB RAM, once you switch on the Windows 10 OS, 2 GB it will already used. 2 GB will be used. So remaining will be like only 6 GB. Remaining will be only 6 GB. Out of the 6 GB, once you create your first virtual machine for Windows Server, we need to assign minimum 2 GB RAM. So 6 GB minus 2 GB will be how much now? Only 4 GB is available now. 4 GB free RAM is available. And what we are doing here, we are creating one more machine for like client, like Windows 7. How much we are assigning here? 1 GB. So for minus 1 will be like how much it will be? 3 GB will be minus, 3 GB will be remaining. So if 3 GB is remaining, we can do one thing. Instead of assigning 2 GB in server, we can assign 3 GB. 3 GB and 1 GB. So 3 GB will be like, remaining will be how much now? 2 GB. So this hardware configuration is more than enough for you to do practicals. So 3 GB RAM for server and 1 GB RAM for computer is more than enough. 2 GB RAM also we can use on a server. But if you have like 8 GB, better go with 3 GB RAM because the performance will be better on a server. So like this, we can create two virtual machines here, one for server and one for client. And these machines are automatically connected with each other internally and they will communicate. And we can do all MCIC practicals in this scenario. So we should have a operating system and a hardware with 8 GB RAM. Then we need to install this VMware Workstation software here. After installing VMware Workstation software, we need to create two virtual machine. One virtual machine is for Windows Server with 2 GB or 3 GB RAM, and another machine is for your Windows 7 with 1 GB RAM. So this setup is more than enough for you to do all practicals. So again, take your time and just try to understand this setup. OS is already there in your machine. The only thing you should do here is install this VMware Workstation software and create virtual machines. How to create everything, I'll show you tomorrow. Creating virtual machine and how to install operating system in virtual machine, it will take one class. So that is the class for tomorrow. So as of now, just try to understand this scenario.
But you said today we'll show the installation.
Yeah, bro, but it is already 8:10, right? 8:05. It's already more than 1 hour. We were supposed to see the installation today, but the time is 1 hour. It will take nearly 40 minutes, 45 minutes for me to show you the how to create this virtual machine and to show you how to install operating system. It will take more than 45 minutes. It will take whole class. Actually, we have spent more time discussing this about BIOS and this booting option, booting process. Majority of people who are using computers, they are not aware of this booting process, but we are not in majority. We are like the administrator, so we should know this process very well, as well as we should know this BIOS. So we have seen three major things today. We have seen the booting process, we have seen the BIOS, and we understood what is this VMware Workstation, how it works. So because of these three topics, the time is not sufficient as of now. Tomorrow is Saturday, guys, but we have class tomorrow. So tomorrow we can do this installation process, and hopefully you can, if you can download this VMware Workstation software, you can download Windows Server also. You can download all these softwares. Okay, so it is free for like VMware software will be free for 1 month, and Windows Server will be free for 180 days. Okay, so you can download and you can do the installation process, creating virtual machine, how to install the OS in virtual machine. That will take one class.
Sir, Unix is a company or else it's operating system, sir?
Unix is a company or
Operating system, sir.
If I say Unix is not an operating system, I'm not completely incorrect. Actually, there are two people, Jeff Thompson. Jeff Thompson is his name. Jeff Thompson, Ken Thompson, sorry, yeah. Computer design, Ken Thompson, and who is the other one? Dennis Ritchie. Actually, these are the two people, guys, who developed this Unix. These two people. So Unix is not a completely operating system. It is just like remember I told you yesterday, it is like a formula. It is like a code. So they said like, okay, this is an open source code. You can take this code and you can create your own operating system. So Unix we are not using anywhere actually. We are using the flavors of Unix like Linux, Solaris, IBM, and under Linux we have many other flavors. So Unix is not completely operating system. It is just a code using which we can develop our own operating system. And credit should goes to these two people for developing and making it free, making it as open source. That is the main thing here. Windows is not open source, guys. We cannot modify anything Windows. We cannot make anything from our side in Windows. Whatever Microsoft is providing, those things we need to use. But these two people, they have developed this. And coming to the OS, these people, Red Hat, Linux, these people, they have taken the code from that Unix and they develop their own operating system that is called Linux. Okay. Hopefully when you go to the Linux course, Linux administration, there will be minimum 2 classes where I will be discussing what is Windows, what is Unix, what is Linux, and what is Windows. What are the differences between Unix and what are the differences between Linux and Windows. It will take minimum 2 classes for me to discuss those things. So as of now, I can only say this much. Like Unix is like a code. From this Unix, the Linux operating system and all the other operating systems came. Okay, so any other question from this scenario, especially from this scenario? I hope you understood how to do this. Means we'll do this practically tomorrow, but I hope you understood the scenario there. That's a very simple scenario. Using VMware Workstation and create virtual machines. That's it. And installation we will see for sure tomorrow. And once I do the installation, Sunday will be the time for you. Hopefully you can do you can install VMware Workstation in your machine and you can do all practicals. I hope everyone is having minimum 8 GB RAM. You know how to check the configuration in your machine? How to check how much GB RAM, how much processor and everything?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. My computer.
Exactly. Go to. Actually, we can check everything from BIOS also. Normally, if you want to check everything perfectly, it is better you check from BIOS. We can check the complete hardware configuration from BIOS, but from here also we can right click on computer properties. Here it will show you, right? See, in my computer there is i5 processor and I have 32 GB RAM. 32 GB RAM is more than enough for any practice actually. Okay, so I have 32 GB RAM and I have like i5 processor. I'm using 32 GB RAM because of this VMware course. You know, and when I take this VMware classes, it will use nearly 24-25 GB RAM from my machine. So VMware is a different code. So VMware Workstation is different, guys, and VMware course is different. VMware course will be something like this. I'll just show one simple scenario here. Tomorrow I'll explain you what is the difference between VMware and cloud computing. Once I do this installation, once I create a virtual machine and once I do the installation, we have like around 15 minutes free. So in that 15 minutes, we can see what is VMware and what is cloud computing. But just see for basic idea, VMware is a different course. Okay, we'll see this tomorrow, no issues. Okay, so we have everything here. So if you have minimum 8 GB RAM, that is more than enough for you to do all practicals. Any processor is okay. Any processor that is i3 or above, it is more than okay. Okay, so that's it for me for today. So I'll just wait for 30 more seconds here. If there is any doubts or anything you wanna say, hopefully we can see those things. And then for sure we will see the installation. See, some topics, guys, it may take like some time for us to discuss. Like this topic was very important, so we took like extra time to discuss in more details. Okay, so that's it. So just I'll be here for 30 seconds.
Yeah, where will I get the recorded videos? This all kind of
You're
stuff.
not getting recorded videos.
No.
You should get the recorded videos every day, right? Because once you finish the class, within like 2 hours, the management people, they will send the recorded videos on your email ID. I hope
No,
you
I did
provided your
not
email.
received any mail from them.
Okay. Any other person have received the mail? Ramo, Siraj, and Zabi.
Yeah, I have received that.
Okay, you have received this. Okay, I'll call Naga. I'll call the people today, or you can also call the management and
Yeah,
just
sure.
ask
I
them
will
to send the.
contact them today.
Okay, I'll also send the message on behalf of you. So
Yeah,
every
okay,
day you'll
sure.
get the messages. Every day you'll get the recorded videos.
So daily we need to register. Is there any specific link
Not
to attend
tomorrow.
the direct?
Yeah. Tomorrow also this link will be there, and hopefully from Monday you'll get a permanent link.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So thanks for joining. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow, like I said, we will see how to create virtual machine and we will see how to do the installation. Okay. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself and see you tomorrow. Bye.